Is it an end of an era of the battling Begums? Ambassador Sikri.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. But I'd like to say that I don't accept this. It's a bit of a misogynist remark because if there were two men, you wouldn't say this is the end of an era because two men are there. But I think it is true that both the leaders, Sheikh Hasina and Begum Khaleda Zia, they rose to the top in their respective political parties, and they have guided their political parties very well. Begum Khaleda Zia took over after her husband was assassinated, President Zia Rahman, but she was able to lead the BNP to consolidate its strength and carry it forward. And similarly, Sheikh Hasina, she returned to Bangladesh in 1981 and took over the leadership of the Awami League, and she has led it very, very creditably all these years. But I think that the important point is that both these leaders, as you mentioned, Begum Khaleda Zia and Sheikh Hasina, they fought for democracy together. And today, I would like to see the Awami League and BNP coming together again in the fight for democracy in Bangladesh. And I think that that Tarique Rahman, who has returned to Bangladesh after 17 years, if he wants to honor his mother's legacy, the best thing he could do was to say that the best thing he can do is to say that yes, the elections in Bangladesh should be inclusive. That would be the best thing in his memory of his mother, because that is when democracy returned to Bangladesh in 1991 after 15 years of military dictatorship. And it was led jointly. The pressure to get General Ershad to step down and to have democratic elections was led jointly. But can the BNP live up to this and bring Awami League into the elections to have it as genuinely democratic? Otherwise, today, just between these two parties, BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami, it's not really a free and fair election. It's not inclusive. And so that an election which is not inclusive will never be credible. And the
Okay.
present dire situation in Bangladesh will continue as lawlessness, attacks on minorities, complete random anarchy.
Only point where I disagree with you, madam, is that the entire idea of doing this show was not emanating from anything which you use the word misogyny. It emanated from the fact that these two women dominated the politics of Bangladesh, and I chose to do this show because the politicians who are at the helm of affair right now are all men. There's not a single woman. So it does not. I disagree with you. There is no misogyny from my part here, madam. There is no
Oh, no, no,
misogyny
no,
from
no.
my part.
I want to say, I want to correct. I did not mean misogyny in that sense. I meant that I think the situation in Bangladesh is very important. I think that ladies are not there, but there are others who are there, and there are people who can also take over in the future. But the issues are very important. The
Oh
issue of
yes.
inclusion,
Oh yes,
the
and
issue
I
free and
have divided those issues into two parts, madam, and that are very interesting. And the first part of the issue is the sort of the threat which the Bangladeshi government and the the radicals which are associated with, which are making it in public domain, saying that the visa work permit of the Indian should be suspended, roughly 20,000. And another is what has happened within the NCP. So let me start with that. As the elections are drawing closer, the rifts have emerged within the Islamist group that have been running Yunus interim government. 30 senior leaders of the National Citizen Party have openly opposed the party's alliance with Jamaat-e-Islami, which was announced on Sunday. Several NCP leaders have resigned in protest, including Mahfuz, a key face of the 2024 violence and the coup that followed. Alam said he does not support the party's alliance with Jamaat. The National Citizen Party is a Bangladeshi Islamist, partly born out of the country's coup. Analysts say NCP's alliance with Jamaat could jeopardize the future and reinforce established parties ahead of the Feb 12th election. But that's not really important. These are the narratives on board. Now, important thing is that why has this split in NCP taken? Second, in future, does this mean that the traditional party like Jamaat and BMP will remain? And as they have included Khaleda Zia, Khaleda Zia, Sheikh Hasina from the system, their space would be overtaken by these two actors. So let me straight away go to Barrister Mohibul Hasan Chaudhry. Why do you think that the split in the NCP has taken? Is there a reason we don't know? Or is it just Jamaat-e-Islami?
Thank you. So from the very beginning, we had been saying that NCP is nothing but an artificial organization which has been created by Mr. Yunus with the help of Yunus Center and the money that was spent by him, and he wanted to align it with the Islamists from the very beginning. It's not that NCP had an organic growth amongst the youth or even the protesting youth in the country. The name did not even exist. The demands that even CP or the interim government has come up with now, none of these things existed. So it's not an organic creation. It's just a fringe platform of some anarchist type individuals who had been assisted by the state to come forward and start a political party. Now that they have realized that forming a political party, creating an organization, running it towards an election, even if it is one-sided, is quite difficult. I mean, if there is an election, even if it is one-sided, they are not even going to get 1% of the total vote, and that is the survey results that we have seen. So having realized that, now Yunus is trying to save his face. He wants to align this party with his structure in the parliament, which is that there has to be some kind of an opposition party. And in that opposition party, if this party is placed with the official opposition party, there will be some kind of face saving for Yunus. That is what he's trying to do here. He's trying to save face. And BNP, they wanted to align with BNP, but BNP has flatly refused because these individuals are demanding far more than what is their actual capacity or political grounding. So BNP is really not happy with their demands, and they've just refused them. And now that they're nowhere, they are going to be politically irrelevant. Such political parties did start in the past in Bangladesh. We've seen it. There used to be a party.
Are you saying that NCP is a finished force? It's a done thing now?
It is, absolutely. Because, how long can you actually sustain a political party with an interim government pumping money, with Yunus Center pumping money? You cannot sustain that kind of a political organization. It's not possible. We've seen it in the past also. After 1975, 15th of August, Sheikh Hasina's whole family being murdered, there was a political party like this called the Freedom Party. They wanted to bring in the newly found freedom. They called it freedom. Yeah, destruction of secular liberal values. They called it freedom. Similar thing has happened this time as well, and they're going to be politically irrelevant and insignificant. They are now trying to just face safe by aligning themselves with Jamaat-e-Islami, and they know that even Jamaat-e-Islami does not have the political leverage to come to power. Just want to supplement the extreme right-wingers in the parliament. That's what they're planning to do.
Okay. Now, meanwhile, Dhaka is working overtime to maintain an anti-India sentiments to consolidate its support base. Radical group Inqilab Moncho has demanded the suspension of work permit to Indians in Bangladesh. Around 20,000 Indians are working in Bangladesh on work permits. This demand comes after Bangladesh police pushed the narrative that two prime suspects in the murder of Osman Hadi have fled into Meghalaya. India has rejected the claim. So, my question to Mr. Chaudhry is, Salahuddin Shoaib Chaudhry, can Bangladesh afford to do this? Will they do it? Will they, do you think, cancel the work permit?
Thank you very much, sir. And my very good evening to the co-panelists. The 20,000 Indian nationals working in Bangladesh, these are not luxuries for Bangladesh. They are essential, extremely necessary, because these Indians are helping the Bangladeshi industrial sectors and technological sectors and many other sectors, and we cannot replace them overnight. We can bring in people from West at the 20 times cost than what we are paying to Indian nationals. So it's a very impractical demand by the Inqilab Moncho. And with your kind permission, I would like to also focus on something about this NCP. With your permission,
please go ahead.
NCP, thank you, sir. NCP, actually in 2006, Muhammad Yunus tried to float a party called Nagorik Shakti. In English, it stands for Nagorik People's Power, and it fell on ground just in a few days when he saw that there is no popular support for him. Now, NCP actually is the Jamaat-e-Islami prodigy. Some of them infiltrated inside Awami League. They publicly admitted and they did a lot of bad things to defame Awami League and to defame Sheikh Hasina. And now they are back to their own creators or masters. So return of NCP to Jamaat is insignificant because these are nothing but the prodigies of Jamaat-e-Islami, and also they are the highly radical Islamists and jihadists. They will also, I will be not surprised if they also return to Ansar al-Islam, frankly speaking.